So we had our second race at Road America for the Cup Series this weekend, 4th of July. And there's been a lot of rumblings, a lot of rumors these past couple weeks about NASCAR implementing a Chicago street course and taking Road America off the schedule. So with the race today, did it help or hurt Road America's chances of keeping their Cup date?
I'm going to go back to what I said about Dover, because we had the same conversation about Dover.
Yep.
I don't think it helped or hurt. I think they've already made their decision. I don't think they're coming back to Road America next year. I don't think if this would have been the best race in NASCAR history, they'd be coming back to Road America next year.
I don't know, because Darlington was on the chopping block before they had that.
Yeah,
Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch, and that's one of the best races of all time, and they kept it.
Here's the problem. NASCAR owns that track now.
Did they back then?
No, but they bought it soon after, if I'm not mistaken.
Soon after is not then.
Road America is an independent track right now. They are not owned by SMI. They're not owned by the other one, whatever the fuck they are. SMI and because there's Speedway Motorsports, which is SMI, and then there's the other group that owns the other side of
I can't remember
the other half of the tracks. Anyways,
NASCAR Incorporated.
No, but they're an independent track. They don't have a deal for next year. They're not racing here next year. It's just not going to happen. Is that okay with me? I'm not super pissed about it because, like I said, it's not a NASCAR track. Would I like to see it because I think it's one of the top 5 road courses in the world and probably the best road course in America? Yeah, I think it's a great track. I think it's one of the best tracks in the world. But it's just not a NASCAR Cup track to me. So I'm not going to be super pissed that it's not on the schedule. There's a lot of really good road courses in the country that aren't on the schedule that I don't think need to be on the schedule. Long Beach comes to mind. Laguna Seca comes to mind. Coda. I don't think it needs to be on the schedule. VIR, Virginia. It's a really great road course.
Road Atlanta.
Doesn't need to be on Road Atlanta. These are really great road courses. They're not Cup tracks. I don't mind not seeing them, even though, they're on the top 10 list of the best racetracks in the country, not being on the Cup schedule because they're not Cup racetracks. So, losing Road America is not going to be that big of a deal to me. The problem is they're going to put a fucking Chicago street course in, and it's also not going to be a Cup track, but they're going to try to force something that's not going to work.
It'll work for a couple of years.
I don't think it will.
It'll work. It'll work for the first year or two, and then it'll falter, I think, just because nobody will care anymore. It's kind of like that's what I'm saying about the Gateway thing. I like Gateway. I've always, had a pretty good, what's it called? Review of Gateway, and this year was a pretty good race, but I mean, Kyle Busch said it. I said it when he said it. You got to keep showing up if you want this to stay. The problem with Road America is people are showing up. I mean, last year was packed for 4th of July. This year it wasn't as packed, I don't think. But I really don't think the attendance at this track matters. I think it's just more about what NASCAR wants to do, what direction they're trying to go to. I don't think they're trying to keep Road America on the schedule. That was never their goal here. I always thought their goal was to either get Chicagoland back or get a race in downtown Chicago. So there's not a whole lot they could have done because I think the attendance was great, both races. It's just I don't think NASCAR never wanted to stay at this track. I think it was a Band-Aid for a bigger, what's it called?
Help me out here. It's becoming difficult for you this week.
Help me. If I'm wrong, my brain ain't working.
I don't know what you're even trying to say here.
I'm trying to say Road America wasn't the plan to stay there. NASCAR was never saying we're going to stay at Road America for 2-3 decades. It was
until they can figure out something else?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to figure. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. It was a road... What the you guys know what I'm talking about. But so I actually think this race.
Fucking English is difficult.
I think this race. I kind of agree with you. It wouldn't have mattered if this race was a great race or not. Now it wasn't a great race today, so I really think it hurt itself more than it did help it. Just no cautions other than the stage breaks. Just not a lot of drama, not a lot of intrigue. There's not a lot of highlights you can go to in this race and show, ooh, look at that. I mean, and in today's age, you need that. You need entertainment, and this race today did not bring it. And last year's race didn't really bring it either. It was a good race last year, and this race was probably a little bit downgrade from that, just a little bit, because you had a little bit more things happen last year. And so I think Road America is done. I hate to see it leave, but I'm not surprised by it. I wasn't expecting it to be on the schedule for super long just because it's in Wisconsin, middle of nowhere. That's not necessarily a market that NASCAR cares. I mean, not saying they don't care about it, but just they're not targeting that type of
Well, here's the deal.
market.
Think about the places that NASCAR gets the most people showing up at racetracks. The top two.
Talladega, Alabama.
In the middle of fucking nowhere.
Darlington, South Carolina.
In the middle of fucking nowhere.
Was that your two? In Daytona?
Okay, so we got
Bristol, Tennessee.
We'll say my top five. All right, we got Bristol, Tennessee. We got 100,000 people showing up there. All right,
especially the night race.
Darlington, South Carolina, close to it.
Middle of bumfuck Egypt.
Middle of fucking nowhere. You got, like I said, Talladega, middle of fucking nowhere. All right, you got Watkins Glen, middle of fucking nowhere.
I wouldn't know.
No clue. It's in the middle of fucking the woods in New York.
Yeah.
Not close to shit. All right.
It sells out though almost every time.
Every year.
Past decade or so.
Road America, 150,000 people show up. Middle of fucking nowhere. All right. These places, where you've got, in your middle of the big city centers, people aren't showing up. But you got these fucking places out in the middle of fucking bumfuck Egypt. That's where the fucking fans are, apparently. Because they're showing up to Darlington, they're showing up to Bristol, they're showing up to Talladega, they're showing up to fucking Watkins Glen, they're showing up to Road America. They're not showing up to Texas.
No.
They weren't showing up to Chicago.
Well, to be fair, I don't think I'd show up for Texas.
They weren't showing up to Atlanta. They're not showing up to fucking Kansas. They're not showing up to these.
Kansas gets a pretty good crowd every now and then.
Every now and again, but not 130,000 strong like they do at Road America.
Not when it's in beginning of November and it's
Pocono.
30 degrees outside.
Even fucking Pocono.
Pocono sells out.
They sell out.
Yep.
It's a shit race, but they sell out. It's in the middle
It's
of fucking nowhere.
It's a beautiful facility, I've heard.
These places that are in the middle of fucking nowhere seem to do better than these big-ass tracks that they fucking plop down right in the middle of the cities. Because
not even in the middle. I think it's just on the outskirts of the cities. That's what I think NASCAR gets confused about sometimes. You go to these.
They don't know who their fans are.
You go that too, and you go to these big markets, but you don't put the track necessarily right in downtown or right where it's 5-10 minutes away from downtown, where it's it's not too far away from the big crowd. You go like an hour away, 2 hours away, 45 minutes. California is like what, an hour and a half away from LA.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Atlanta, it's in oh shit, where's Atlanta at?
Atlanta.
It's not in Atlanta. Where the fuck is Atlanta at? Why do I not remember this information?
Commerce.
Not Commerce. Anyways, it's not
Kentucky.
It's not in Atlanta, the city. It's like on the outskirts. It's like 45 minutes away from downtown Atlanta. So, and then you get these tracks like Darlington. It's not even near a big market, but it's in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. But the race fans that truly love Hampton, that's what it's called. You got all these tracks that are in the middle of nowhere, but people show up because it's not in front of a big market. You're not like teasing them on we got a race in Las Vegas and it's fucking an hour away from the strip. That's NASCAR's problem. And I know it's very difficult to put a race in like right in the middle of downtown. It's you got restrictions and shit. I'm not gonna get into any of that. I don't know enough about that to give the logistics of how you could get that to work. I'm just saying NASCAR needs to fix these algorithms of what they think in their head is where their fans are at, and it's really not. I mean, you got a few tracks out there: Daytona, Bristol, Talladega, Martinsville, Darlington. And that's about it, is the tracks that people will drive across the country to go see. Because I've witnessed it myself. I have seen people, when I was at the Bristol race, drive from Indiana, Michigan, freaking Las Vegas, just all Nevada, everywhere to go to the Bristol night race. Same thing with the Daytona 500. Talladega, I've seen people come from fucking Ohio, just long ways. Other tracks that don't work like that. The tracks are not prestigious enough to do that. So NASCAR needs to
tell you what,
figure it out.
I live in South Carolina. We live in South Carolina. We go to Darlington pretty much every year. I'm not driving to go watch a race. Shit, I don't even want to drive to fucking Atlanta to watch that race. But I'll drive to go watch the Bristol race. I'll drive to go watch Talladega. I'll drive to go watch Daytona. But I'm not going across the country to watch fucking Las Vegas or Kansas.
Nope.
I'm not going to Chicagoland. As good as it is. I'm not driving all the way the fuck up there to watch a regular mile-and-a-half race. But, I've thought about driving to fucking New York, watch Watkins Glen. That'd be a hell of a fucking show to see. Be there for that shit.
I don't know if
I'd go there.
To a road course
I'd
race.
do that shit. I'd do that. Watkins Glen, that's a hell of a time.
You'd miss almost the whole
I'm not going for the race. I'm going for the party.
Okay.
I'd be there for that shit.
I gotcha.
But, there's... NASCAR has its fans, and they know where they're at. But for some reason, they don't understand how to get it to them. The Coliseum was a cool idea to prop up that West Coast audience in Los Angeles.
That's what I'm saying. Do shit like that, and it'll work better than what you put in these. I mean, you've already put these tracks together. Like, I'm not saying move the tracks or whatever. Just, just figure it out, NASCAR. I mean,
but to bring it back, no, they're not coming back to fucking Road America.
Sorry, we went on a tangent there. What's up, Highline Nation? Did you enjoy that video? Well, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you want the full version of each episode, download the Spotify app and find the Highline and give us a follow. As well as follow us on Instagram for more behind-the-scenes content. Stop beating around the bush.